Hey guys, welcome back to another video. You already know what we're installing today. If you're wondering if it scratched my paint, you could just check right up here. So as much as it's gonna be painful to do, I'm gonna take off all these lights. And a few hours later, we got the tape off, the lights off, car's all washed and ready for the wicker bill. And here's a quick unboxing. Got some pieces, I guess, to protect the bill. You get your rivets and your screws in there. So there's the wicker bill I went with. I went with polish because one side of this longer black piece is kind of like this 1LE matte black look, while the other side is a gloss. The dark tint one, both pieces are kind of see-through. Obviously the longer black one's a little bit harder to see through, while the visor, I guess, is a lot easier to see through. And then the standard one is just kind of a gloss black finish on each end for the longer black piece, and the visor isn't as tinted. So to install the wicker bill, you're gonna need these tools, which is a power drill and a pilot bit. I'm using a 1/4 inch bit. I'm gonna use that to make the hole and then follow it up with the 3/8, which is what's required to fit these rivets into the holes. You could use blue tape or whatever kind of masking tape you got. You're gonna need a measuring tape or ruler to measure and make sure everything's centered. And this rivet tool, my buddy let me borrow because he got his done. I know ZL1 Add-ons has their own, but since I was able to use it from a friend, I decided I'd save a couple bucks. It's a pretty easy install. It's just that you have to be super calculated with where you put your holes, because if you mess it up, you're gonna be ordering a whole new spoiler. And these aren't that cheap. First thing I'm gonna do is put the tape on. I'm just gonna literally put this right here. It's gonna go right on this piece, not the ends. So you could just line it up. And I'm just gonna apply maybe a couple pieces of tape where the points should be, like lining it up this way. Obviously there's gonna be one smack in the middle, so you could literally put the width of the Chevy badge. I don't think you have to go too crazy on the thickness either. I think one thick should be all right. Holes will land on the tape that I just put on, so that should work for when I mark them. And if it doesn't work, just make sure that you see blue through the holes when you go to put that on. I'm gonna go ahead and measure the middle part of the spoiler here. Measures about 55 inches, which I believe is 27.5. I'm gonna go ahead and mark this 27 right there in the middle. Now that I have the middle point, or at least what I think is the middle, I'm gonna go ahead and tape the ends. And then from there, I'm gonna measure from the end of the wicker bill to the end of the middle of the spoiler here. Make sure that's, I don't know how long, and that's gonna be equal to the distance between this end of the wicker bill to the spoiler here. And that should really zero in where the center is, as well as I'm trying to decide how like high up I wanna put it. I might just go a little bit higher than the middle just to like get up maybe, I guess that's 1/2 inch to 1 inch of like a lip here from the spoiler itself to the wicker bill. It's all taped on. 1 inch and about 1/4 here. And then on this side, literally 1 inch. We gotta move it over, I guess, 1/4 of an inch. I'm gonna keep on adjusting it. I'm sure you guys don't wanna see it, but at least you get the idea of how to know it's like 100% zeroed in. I went ahead and Sharpied in all the things. I kind of just filled in the circle, and I'm gonna now shift it up about, like I said, 1/2 inch. All right, so there's the first point I made, as well as these two. Just kind of center it, and then I moved up a little bit and a touch over, just because that end, the wicker bill wasn't sitting 100% like stuck to the spoiler as this end was. And now we're gonna do the scary part of opening this up with the pilot. Again, that's a 1/4 inch bit that I'm gonna use. Since I'm gonna be applying pressure to this, and I don't want to put too much pressure and then it breaks free and I end up drilling a hole straight through it, I decided to put some tape there to the length of one of these riv nuts so that, you know, I don't go in too deep. Okay, it kind of just went in by itself. So here's a 3/8 bit. Bro, I'm like scared, but at this point, like, might as well, like, that's it. Oh, shit. This is just hollow on the inside. If you aren't careful enough, you will break through to the slanted side on the other side. That's the first one. For some people, you gotta open up the hole a little more. Go ahead and insert this again. Then you're gonna go ahead and kind of squeeze this a couple of times. And it shouldn't come out behind it. All right. So let's show what's going on here, because I don't want you guys to think that I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I kind of don't, but if you really have never used this tool before. So there's the inside thread, and then there's this outer thread where there's supposed to be a kind of like spout looking thing like this on the screen. Gonna have to wait for this install to be done tomorrow, because like always on my channel, there's something that goes wrong. So scratch me doing it tomorrow, because I actually went to my friend's house and picked it up. Now you see that the gap is not as wide, and hopefully there won't be any hiccups. All All right, so it looks like it's in. I'm not sure if the part behind it folded on here. I didn't feel like any like change. It didn't like feel anything different like some people said it should. So I put the screw in there with the washer in the middle, tighten that down with the screwdriver right into the hole with the rivet. Seems like there's a healthy lip there. As you can see, not all my fingers showing, which is what I kind of wanted. Now this is gonna hold it down a lot better than tape will. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that this lip is the same here as well as the lip here. Or what you could do is measure from the top of the spoiler itself from here down to the hole and do that over here as well. I'm not gonna do this with each one on camera. It looks like it's a lot more compressed than it was before. I might honestly take that screw out and give it a little more pressure while watching it. Felt it fold a bit there. Oh my God, I forgot to take the tape off. And after sleeping on the tape, I decided to lock in because Lord knows that I can't afford to do this twice. I continued to hole 3 with no problems and a majority of hole 4, but I left some of the shavings around the hole, which didn't allow the rivet to sit completely flat against the spoiler. By the time I noticed, it was way too late. Oh, what the f is that, bro? Hole 5 was a breeze and I made sure to not leave any shavings on the hole this time. And by now I felt like a professional with the rivet gun. There we go. I think that's the most solid one I've had. Everything looks pretty good right now. Got to do the last ends over there and over here. Now in the last 2 holes, I started thinking to myself, imagine if I did all this to mess up now. Oh my God, no. The tape. Of course, this took my mind off of what I was doing, leading to me having a couple of blunders. So here's what it looks like with all holes drilled and the rivets put in. Wicker bill only, but all the screws are in it. Everything all assembled, put together. I think it came out looking pretty good. So we're at with the other side, as you can see, at least like the height of my finger is the difference in height between the tip of the spoiler and the bottom of the wicker bill over here. I think it's definitely worth it. I needed something in the back of the car besides just the exhaust. And I didn't want to do a ZLE wing because this car doesn't have 650 horsepower. I don't really want any drag on this car more than what it has right now. These, I will say, these, you can move them around a lot. At first I thought that the black wicker bill was kind of seated wrong, but when you unloosen the screws a little bit, you could shift it around and play with it a bit. If you're thinking about doing it yourself, you definitely can. It wasn't too hard. All in all, I spent maybe like 3 hours doing it because I was super critical on screwing it in. And on top of that, I had to go to my friend's house to go pick up the tip to the rivet gun. I think that's pretty much gonna do it. Hope you all enjoyed. If you guys learned anything here today, please drop a like. Sub for more videos like this. Aside from the Christmas tree, we got one more addition added on here. And then that's the other mod that we got. Like this one, if I mess anything up on these, it's gonna require buying some new parts. Hopefully there's a streak of good luck. For the most part, this went as planned. But yeah, it's pretty much gonna do it. And I just wanted to show one more thing. That's 1.25 inches from the end of the wicker bill to the end of the spoiler. And that's just about 1.25 inches on this end as well. Appreciate it if you guys watched this long. Peace out.